Hello, friends. How are you all? Hope you are doing great with various aspects of your lives. Today, we are going to talk about a book that is not only mythology retold but mythology reimagined also. And the root of the same is in Indian, that is Bharatiya mythology. It would not be wrong to say that there is something with Mahabharata or Mahabharata that is near to the heart of many Indian souls. By Indian, we also refer here the people who explored Indian literature as well, that it was told and retold and retold and retold many times without losing its charm. I remember a scriptwriter Salim Khan once said in an interview that there is no bigger or better screenplay than the Mahabharata or Mahabharata, and there is no bigger or better story than the Ramayana or Ramayana, and I agree with him fully. Retelling Indian mythology is a trend these days. Of course, it is not an easy task. You cannot woo the readers unless you are having an interesting way to tell, or shall we say, retell it. Some authors tried it nicely, and the most successful of them is Amish Tripathi. He first wrote three books in Shiva trilogy series. They were The Immortals of Meluha, The Secret of the Nagas, and The Oath of the Vayuputras, and then started working on the Ramchandra book series. We are, however, going to focus on the Mahabharata, and we can recall a book named Jaya, an illustrated retelling of Mahabharata by Devdutt Patnaik. In Gujarati, the Mahabharata series by late Harilal Upadhyay, a set of 7 books, is interesting too. Adding to the list, here come the latest book in the same genre by debutant author Deepak Kaul. He comes up with a book named Corpokshetra, Mahabharata in the MBA Yug. His vision is pretty clear. He wanted to present a light read to the readers who enjoy reading it. Let's take a look at the cover page of the book that serves as the gateway to the fictional world explored within. The book cover reflects the book genre and its content interestingly, as almost every reader knows the content of Mahabharata from the beginning to the end. So there is nothing in the book which is not predictable in terms of the content in the book, but the way it is told should be reflected on the cover, and we can say that the designer did it pretty well. Let us take a bird's eye view to the story. The original tale is well known, and Deepak has tried weaving it interestingly in the modern corporate world. Hastinapur is a business empire rather than being a kingdom here in this book. Bhishma has single-handedly rose this empire and bring it to the ultimate heights which it is seeing these days. Duryodhan actually runs the empire despite of the fact that Dhritarashtra is at the chair. Pandavas are now came out of exile where they had to work for NGOs only and claiming back their rightful. To approach their claims properly, they have hired a consultant, Krishna, who excels in negotiations and closing the deals with having 100% track record. We know that Duryodhan is not going to give up what he considers his own, and there will be an inevitable battle at the boardroom. Hastinapur Empire have many boardrooms, but the biggest one is Kurukshetra, and it is suitable for this long-lasting, precisely 18 days, war of the words, and then golf and cricket. The rest of the stuff is better to explore by reading the book. Here are my personal views and reviews for this book. The author belongs to the world of business management and he knows his area pretty well. His expertise in the field is quite evident in this rather fun at the heart novella. Let me quote from the book. Krishna wished the board has consulted him at the time. it would have avoided a lot of trouble in the future. This was a perfect example of why companies should not proceed without taking advice from consultants. He has given straight to the point dialogues like, facts are facts, they are like karma, you cannot challenge them, or things should be decided where it mattered most. And there are philosophical stuff too, like, it was at times like this that Karna was caught between the devil, that is Duryodhana, and the deep blue sea, Krishna, the ocean of knowledge. The book has a lot of character defining lines like Krishna was judicious in not using words and phrases such as failure or less than satisfactory results or not the desired outcome, because such terms are not in the lexicon of a consultant. All is fair in love and war, and Krishna knew quite a bit about both. Well, we have to bend the rules a bit. Not as hard as bending a bullet, though, said Krishna mischievously. Dhritarashtra had probably been insensitive to the loss of an offspring, considering he had so many. Just as the water in a deep pool is warm on the surface and cool at the bottom, Dhritarashtra was at once warm with joy and chilled with sorrow. I have nothing to live for, Mama Shri. I see the prosperity of the Pandavas and it causes me immense grief. I feel helpless and useless every time I compare my net worth to theirs. The book has lot many lines referring contemporary people or current happenings, like, it was all a very messy business. The news channels and media had a field day. Prominent journalist Barish Bhatt did a special 1 hour segment of the whole fiasco, ending with a panel discussion on the treason in the Kuru clan and the impact on the future of Hastinapur enterprises. Something is clicked in your mind when you read the name of the journalist? I think you got the link. Here is another interesting quote from the book. Duryodhana had howled with frustration. Pitashri, you had promised that अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं. Now what are we going to do? We are sure you will not miss the punch here either. What has killed your appetite and thirst? Don't worry, beta. Every cricketer goes through a bad patch. Just get a fat free to promote a shampoo or cola or both, and you will start hitting centuries again. In these lines said by Dhritarashtra to Duryodhan, you got the point, right? Now let us talk about some stuff from Mahabharata that is changed in the book to keep contemporariness. There are many things written in a slightly different way to keep contemporariness. For example, the rising importance of social media and messenger apps is reflected in the line, Duryodhana immediately WhatsApped Yudhishthira. Or, but everyone was actually wrong, just like weather apps failed to predict hurricanes. The famous Narova Kunjarova idiom is represented as, Gurudev, I am sorry to inform you that Ashwathama has suffered grievous injuries, and then coughing loudly into his hand, to his ego, finished Yudhishthira. Also, it is tough to set up the stuff in Indian environment, talking about sports and not talking about cricket. Both Bhim and Duryodhan are offensive batsmen, and they prefer the things should be decided on the ground. Bhim was keen to beat Duryodhan in the grounds since his early age. True-blooded sportsmen do not resort to boardroom tactics. We should just challenge them to a T20 match and take all 10 wickets. Then I would love to bash their bowling and score a double century. However, honestly, I would much rather break that evil Duryodhana's legs with my bat. And it doesn't end here. Even the entire Abhimanyu's brutal killing episode is written in the cricket arena. There are so many such twists and links I am tempted to talk about, but will rather not spilling more beans than whatever it is already shared. The author has a target audience in mind, and in terms of writing, he has successfully created a good read for them. The dialogues are written in today's language, and young readers will be driven by it very easily. The author is highly inspired by Dr. Shashi Tharoor's book, The Great Indian Novel, and he acknowledges it along with some other books based on the Mahabharata. The author has hit the bull's eye at most of the places, but there are some misses also. And yes, we are not considering the plot related misses, because when you modernize a mythological tale, your views and my views can be different. Let me share what author got it wrong. Here is a line from the book. Bhishma tried to cheer him up by giving him a discourse on politics, which later came to be known as Vishnu Sahasranama. Now, the entire Parva in the Mahabharata is Shanti Parva, which reflects the message of peace. It is referred as Book of Peace and not Vishnu Sahasranama. Also, Vishnu Sahasranama is spelled as Vishnu Sahasranama. Here, however, I would like to confess that I had seen many books like Lalita Sahasranama, Shiv Sahasranama, and in all those English translations, the spelling of Sahasranama is written as Sahasranama. So we may give a little benefit to the author here. In the next segment, I am going to talk about the spelling of Khandavprastha is wrong and did not heed Arjun's attempt to stem the downward spiral. The only saving grace was that since Khandavprastha was a landlocked state, the loss of a yacht means that four-sail schooner that Yudhishthira had painstakingly put together in a bottle, it still hurt because he had spent almost all his spare time and nearly become myopic trying to build the ship. The book is comparatively smaller, and we consider that the best purchase price for the book is below or equals to 100 rupees. At the end of the book, the author summarizes the entire tale pretty much nicely in the form of lessons to learn from the epic of Mahabharata. And we agree, and are sure majority of the readers will too, with all the listed ones. So, what is the conclusion? Remember the movie Jaane Bhi Do Yaro? Did you like it? Did you like the Mahabharata scenes in that movie as well? If your answer is yes for any of these questions, you are definitely going to enjoy this book as well. In this retelling of Mahabharata, the fun is at the center and you have to read it with that perception only. If you are looking for light reading material that you can read with an open mind, you will definitely like it. And yes, some smiles on your face are expected to be seen when you are reading it. What do you think about this book? What do you think about this book review? Have you already read the book? Are you planning to read the book? Have you find this review helpful to you in any way in deciding whether to go for the book or not? Please do share your genuine and unbiased remarks via comments below. And yes, subscribe to our channel to get notified whenever we publish our new podcast. You are most welcome to share this podcast with anyone you think it would be a worth hearing experience. Till we meet with our next episode, bye bye, take care, namaskar.